And please keep this confidential. I don't know if anyone has been in Pat's home. If we could perhaps find it in our budget to grant him some kind of honorarium. And I was wondering about the murals, the City of Cornwall murals. Has anybody been in his home, or does anybody have any other suggestion perhaps?
I've been to his home.
Does he have the City of Cornwall murals in his home?
As a gift.
As a gift, yeah.
I don't recall seeing it there.
He just expanded his home as well, so there's...
You'll have more wall space.
Yes.
Well, that was just a thought that I had as in thank you to him for the excellent job that he did both in the afternoon and evening. If there's any other suggestions, I have been in contact with him through email, and we'll invite him back when we have a summary in front of us that we can discuss. But I just thought it would be nice to give him an honorarium. Are we all in agreement with that? Or?
Yeah, absolutely. That's great.
And does the mural thing sound reasonable?
Yeah, sounds like good.
They're not too expensive, and you can, okay.
I think he did a really good job under the circumstances and the pressure that was mounting. That was he did an excellent job.
Yeah.
I was very impressed with his stability and his resources.
And the round table idea worked too.
Yeah, it worked out much better than was originally anticipated.
Yeah. Okay.
I can just add a bit more meat to the kind of next steps if the community's interested. I mean, I think Lee gave you the responses we have electronically in hard copy. What we're going to do is input the hard copy as if they were done electronically, because if they're then all in the format, you can do the kind of statistical analysis so that it's there. And then we'll publish some form of a document that's got all of those comments. But we've also got the notes from the round table, and took pretty good notes for the individual questions and presentations from this. So we're going to package that up in a way that is kind of a summary of the public input, all of those things. I mean, it'll take a little while to do that because there's a lot to put in there. So I'm not sure what date we can commit to do that for, because with that many responses, there's obviously a lot of people who are probably putting kind of free-form comments as well. So we'll do that, and then I think my sense is that we'll do that, have this committee kind of look at that and see what conclusions it reaches, and because the committee went to council to ask to do this, I think the committee should then, after it's got that, kind of present its findings to council. I would sense by the time we get to council, it's probably going to be late summer, early fall, dealing with that. But we'll try and make that as complete as possible. I mean, we may group similar things and just kind of say, okay, there were 5 comments on this and 15 on that. But that's my sense of how we'll deal with that, unless the committee has different views and would like to do it differently.
No. Yes, Glenn?
One thing that we have at our city council meetings that are televised is ad hoc committees that can prepare a report, and there was so much misinformation at the meeting that I think it would be advantageous. We don't normally talk about it because there's minutes of our meetings are available, but perhaps a report at our council meeting to take away some of the misinformation that is out there. So either myself or Danny we can alternate in giving a report from the committee when there's any new information that needs to be put forth. So it'll be our communication, one of our communication tools.
Very good, thank you very much.
If we were provided with some talking points of things that should be touched on by one of us, so that we reflect what the committee is thinking, that would be a good idea, I think. Just providing my own comments does not necessarily reflect the feedback from the group, so I just want to make sure that...
Well, I think once our minutes of meeting have been passed by the committee,
right,
then I mean it's public information. Until we pass minutes of one meeting, it's because there may be errors or omissions, but certainly do do that when they ask for ad hoc reports, but I think when we get to the final summary, then we're gonna ask to do a presentation at city council so that it's, as you say, they're televised and so that it's out to, but just maybe even to let them know that it takes a lot of work to compile this information, and so that people will not be expecting anything before the fall. Would be helpful, I'm sure. Okay, thank you, Guy.
Under the misinformation thing, I think at one point it's going to be important to point out that the last committee had 2 people who had some construction/development experience, which was Sandy and myself. And in the current committee, there's Eric, Michelle, and myself that might be considered having some relevant development experience. Going from 2 out of 12 to 3 out of 12 is quite a stretch when you call it stacked. I just wanted to put that there.
Okay, good. Okay, thank you very much. We'll look forward to that. Update on project initiatives, the official opening of the Van Shell Path and roadway. Stephen, did you want to report on that?
I don't, yes, I will, thank you, Madam Chair. I don't have an actual date. I wanted to put it there though to see if the committee wanted to do something, and to give you kind of where we are. If you've been there, you'll know that it's substantially complete in the back. The only issue is the final layer of what is the final top coat of asphalt has to go on, and I'm advised that will likely be next week. Following that, we just paint the lines. There was an issue with a little bit of the curbing or something, so that they had to take some out and redo a little bit of it. So they couldn't get the final list of asphalt. So I think it would be appropriate for because it's about accessibility to park and parking, those things, and that is one of the initiatives. That once we know for certain that date, then maybe we can just set something up, and if that works before a meeting that we might have, great. If not, if we set another time, we can just do some kind of official opening, I guess, cut the ribbon or do whatever. So my message is it's imminent, but I'll keep you posted if there's an interest in doing that. It's probably at the most a couple of weeks away.
Well,
It may be as early as the end of next week, I think so.
I certainly think that we should have an opening of that section, and again, it informs more of the public about what we have been doing and the accessibility to the park, so we could invite all of the media to come and get it out to the community, because it is behind the Van Shell, so perhaps if people are walking in the park, they don't see what the improvement is down there. So, and certainly I'm sure it's going to be more useful for the performers in the park. So can you send an email, and if it's possible to make it later in the afternoon, then perhaps more members of the committee could show up instead of a 10 o'clock opening.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Because I have a long way to go. So.
Oh, yeah, okay, that's good, that's good. I haven't heard anything further from the Waterfront Land Development Committee. I know that they are striving to do the best they can, and as in the future, or as in the past, the idea was to start looking from the east. Because of the development that has been taking place down there. So I know that the oil tank lands are really up there, prominent in their quest for some acquisition of land. So if...
Madam Chair?
Yes?
There has been some contact with the different departments.
Oh.
I was one of the ones making the contact with Stephen.
Okay.
May have some.
Yeah, I know that. I was a contact for Marty Taylor, and I know that you were a contact for Mr. Brown. Actually, when I've tried to contact Mr. Taylor, his voicemail says he's away until next Monday, but I left the detailed message I left him was really your update, which is we understand literally in the last few days there's been some federal sanction of how to approach this issue of the surplus land. So I think we're trying to get the final details on that. That's what we understand.
Maybe in general terms, conversation with Mr. Barbeau was that the waterfront lands, properties have been all identified, inventory, presentations made to the minister as to where things will be going. And the next step is waiting on where CBSA and their bridge corporation will be going. And the next step after that is the transfer of the lands that will become available to, what do they call that?
Canada
organization?
Lands.
Canada Lands,
Corporation.
which will put the lands up for access, and the city would be advised of all of the pieces of land that are to become available. That's basically where we are.